Welcome to Media Track, the media program where we do a bit of analysis of whatever has happened in the past week. We try and focus mostly on local news, but since the pandemic has hit us, we also look at the national figures. With me is Ashley Rosario, a senior journalist. So in the past week, we've been completely tied down with news of the coronavirus pandemic, and on the day we are recording, that's Friday, India enters its 8th week in lockdown, and we have cases touching 82,000 in the country, with 51,400 active new cases coronavirus. And so far, I'm sorry to have to sort of focus on this very negative news, but it is the reality today. And 2,649 people have died, and but the good news is also that nearly 28,000 people have recovered since the first case was recorded in Kerala in January. While in the lockdown, citizens have been advised to continue actively exercising social distancing. Now, the one big news that is coming out today is that the government of India, the Modi government, this I'm reading to you from the print news website, and it says that the Modi government prepares to reopen hotels. Arogya Setu and masks could be a must, could be sort of compulsory for tourists. And the tourism ministry is drawing up guidelines for travel and hotel industry. The guidelines include mandatory thermal screening, wearing of masks among it. Now, let me turn to my colleague Ashley. This is obviously going to be good news for Goa, but it comes on the day that Goa has sort of got out of the green zone, that we thought we were in this very safe little cocoon, and we were totally COVID free, but we got 7 cases in one day, and then a second eighth case on Thursday. Yesterday, that was yesterday was the 14th of May. Today is the 15th. So, what do you think are the problems now before Goa to handle this whole crisis that we seem to be in once again in a crisis situation?
Devika, let's not make a mistake about it. COVID is not going to go away.
Yeah.
Okay. We are not going to have spells of Goa being green for a long time. It's not going to happen, because there are a lot of people coming in, going out.
Yeah.
You can't stop that.
Yeah. Now, one question I want to ask you here right now, Ashley, is before I sort of lose the trend of thought. Are these people who are coming in, are they people who are actually, living in Goa? Are they only people who have second homes in Goa, and so they're looking for a safe haven away from the hotspots in the rest of India, which is, Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, and today the news says that Chennai has overtaken Gujarat in the numbers, Tamil Nadu rather.
Some of them may be people who have second homes in Goa and stuff like that, but everybody has problems in this pandemic.
Yeah.
No one is going to uselessly travel.
Yeah.
Okay. No one is going to go through the trouble of getting sanctions from the government of the states where you're going to, and the sanctions from the governments where you are, to travel for no reason.
Yeah.
They have to have compelling reasons to travel to Goa.
Yeah.
The point is that if we are going to block people from coming to Goa, how long are we going to block people from coming to Goa? It's not something that we can do permanently.
That is true.
Okay.
So now what has happened with India, from what we can see, is that we came into this very, very restrictive lockdown a bit early on. That is what some of the analysts are saying.
Correct.
And we are starting to peak after our lockdown is almost over. 50 days of a lockdown is no joke.
That's something to do with our demography, basically.
Yeah.
Also our we are a large country.
Yeah.
We are not like any of the other countries that have already seen the peak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have different climatic conditions in different parts of India.
Yeah.
So the way the virus is spreading is different in different areas.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you take the whole country into picture, we haven't reached the peak yet.
No, not in the least.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And we are going to have more problems
Yeah.
as the days pass by.
Yeah.
And with the monsoon coming in, that problems are going to be doubled.
Yeah.
You know?
So now what has happened, Ashley, after these new cases have come up, Goa was supposed to be opening up. We are going to get special trains coming through. And now, ever since these 8 cases have come up, the Chief Minister is saying he's going to ask the centre to skip halts in Goa. Now, do you think that is actually going to happen? Because we had one train that came in on Thursday, right? So it brought 15 passengers who wanted to come back. But a lot more people will obviously start to travel here. Yeah. So is it viable for him to ask that no trains stop?
He's asking whether the Railway Ministry and the centre will accept his demand is another question altogether.
Yeah.
But if I think the government at the centre will resist acceding to his demand, for the simple reason is that they have started very skeletal services.
Yeah.
They're probably testing the waters.
Yeah.
The
And then you have this stoking fears in small little villages. Now you have the Sarpanch of Asolna is Xavier Almeida, and he has asked the Chief Minister that no people from the red zone should be permitted to enter. Now what have they done? There was this thing here where I think the village itself is planning to put up some kind of blockade. We've had this before.
We've had this before at the start.
Yeah, at the start. Yeah. So this kind of xenophobic fear.
Yeah, I think the health department should start some public awareness programs where people are educated about the disease itself. Yeah. There is a lot of misconceptions, a lot of stuff. Yeah. The good thing about this whole coronavirus and COVID-19 is that the virus may be dreaded, but it is not deadly. Yeah. The mortality rates aren't that high as it was first feared. Yeah. Okay, so it's not that if you get COVID you will surely die. Yeah. That kind of a situation is not there. So in that kind of a situation, this whole stigma that is being attached to the disease is unfounded. Yeah.
Okay, so now we come to another point in this is that Goa has this huge sort of financial constraints, and I'm reading from the Times of India today, with coffers empty, state seeks 2 crore package to boost economy. And at the same time, you have the state still carrying on with a lot of other projects that it should not, but critical projects that it should be doing, like the bridges or something. It has just stopped. They've stopped for 6 months. I think I saw the report in the Goan. Yeah. They've taken a 6-month break on the bridges. Yeah. And the funds crunch is putting major GSID projects on hold, this one report says. And then there's another report which says that the CM to meet Goa bankers to discuss the PM relief fund. And the Congress proposes 100 crore economic package for Goa. Now where is all this money going to come from? One doesn't know. Of course, the government of India has announced this massive
that package that the centre has spoken of, first the Prime Minister, now the Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, that is a very macro numbers. We don't know which state is going to get what and how are they going to channel that money, if at all they are.
Okay, right. But apart from that, now there was, on the day that we got these new figures that came out, 7 positive cases, on that day itself, the cabinet had a meeting and they had decided that the state state may reopen restaurants, gyms, hotels, etc. And this came after the cabinet meeting on Thursday, and no, on Wednesday, I think, and then these cases came up on Wednesday night. So they were hit with this reality that it may not be so easy to open. So you have the minister Michael Lobo, who is a big proponent of this reopening of the tourism industry, because he himself has a huge stake. Ashley, how many other people do you think are in the hotel business from politicians?
I think most of the politicians who represent the coastal constituencies have their fingers in the pie. Plus, it's a very good investment for their for the wealth they amass through politics, right? So that way they must be invested. A lot of politicians are definitely invested in the tourism business and industry.
Yeah, but this is the one industry that has been the worst hit by the pandemic, because it involves travel, it involves so many things. There's so much sort of interpersonal relationships. I mean, I may be using the wrong term, but there is social distancing may not be as easy to maintain in the tourism. As it is in this country, social distancing is not easy at all.
I suppose that if they will have to think about a formula of how to work this out, hotels and businesses in the tourism sector will have to include the medical part in it. Like hotels may have to have a couple of doctors on board, to give immediate relief to people who may show symptoms of coronavirus while they are in the hotel. So some sort of via media they will have to work out. But per se, the tourism industry, it seems, is going to have a very tough time.
Now you talk of the tourism industry, and people say, of course, it is the mainstay of the economy. Till today, I have not been able to figure out the figures. How much of the GDP does it contribute? Same thing. Everyone used to talk about mining, but the irony of it is that the mining has actually restarted. At least the transportation of the ore has restarted. And people in Kavre have been protesting that 300 to 350 trucks an hour are driving through, though there are supposed to be only 20 of them. Plus there was this anxiety about drivers coming from outside the state and taking the ore to hospet, etc. But the economy has been so badly hit, and I'd just like to read just a little bit from The Economist. The open system of trade that dominated the world economy for decades has been damaged by the financial crash and the Sino-American trade war. Now it is reeling from its third body blow. World goods may shrink by 10 to 30% this year, is what The Economist is saying. In the first 10 days of May, exports from South Korea, a trade powerhouse, fell by 46% year on year, probably the worst decline since records began in 1967. And the underlying anarchy of global governance is being exposed. So what I find interesting is in this analysis of theirs, which says that don't be fooled that a trading system with an unstable web of national controls will be more humane or safer. Poorer countries will find it harder to catch up, and in richer ones, life will be more expensive and less free. So the pandemic has turned our world upside down, literally, and there was this thing I saw, some European countries are opening up, and
what I think this will do is, in the long term, is it will change that international economic order from a globalized system into a regional system. Where you will have countries in a particular region trading with themselves. The east to west trade and north to south trade will be cut down a lot. So I think there will be drastic changes in the way the economies of the world move forward. If from here on?
There was this report, Ashley, in your paper, in the Goan today itself, and it says the coronavirus may never go away. The World Health Organization has warned. So, you know, speaking at a briefing, the WHO said that even if a vaccine is found, controlling the virus will require massive effort. And almost 300,000 people worldwide are reported to have died with coronavirus, and more than 4.3 million cases recorded. So what he's saying is, like HIV has not gone away, but we have come to terms with the virus, and that seems to be, you know, where we are headed with coronavirus. One of the more tragic outcomes of this whole coronavirus thing is you know, the absolutely sort of unexpected death of the former Congress MLA Jitendra Prabhu. Now, the Prabhu died quite some days ago, but there are still these rumors going about that he didn't get the proper treatment in GMC, and that he was neglected for 3-4 hours. Well, I've not, I mean, I've read all the reports and all, Ashley, but I have not personally been covering the story, so maybe you could throw some light on that.
The problem is, it all came out in the public domain that there was something, you know, there was a slip between the cup and the lip about Jitendra Prabhu's death, when suddenly a senior resident doctor was suspended. It so happens that the sequence of events from the time Prabhu was brought to GMC, there was a shuffle of taking him from the casualty to the isolation ward and back to the casualty. In between, there was nobody manning the CT scan machine. Because what happens is, you know, when you are not in a condition where doctors can, you know, do the procedure to remove your swab, your throat swab, then the second thing they rely on is a CT scan. They do a CT scan of your respiratory setup, and they look at the damage to the thorax, the damage to the lungs, and depending on that, they kind of diagnose whether it is a case of COVID or not. But there was no way of, you know, getting a CT scan done on him.
But is it true that the doctor was missing for some 3 hours? Is that a fact, or she was missing for only half?
That's something for the inquiry to bring
but
out.
Then
but
the
she
other
was,
thing
when Prabhu was referred for a CT scan, there was nobody.
But the other thing I'm a bit confused about is the government first set up one committee, and now it has set up another committee. What is all that about?
What happened was, the Resident Doctors Association, you know, they came up with some explanation of the sequence of events, and they pinpointed that it is not the CT scan or the lack of a CT scan that was the problem, but something else. So since there was this, you know, coming from a source that is quite credible, like GAR, your Goa Association of Resident Doctors is not just going to say something without having evidence. They said it on record. So therefore, they you know, dismantled the internal inquiry, and the government has appointed a government committee.
But there was another angle to it, which I found a bit intriguing, is that one of the doctors apparently refused to do that, I think it's called intubation, where they put the tube in, because she was afraid that he might be a coronavirus patient.
I don't know what are the reasons, but there's one version that says that the family member accompanying Jitendra Prabhu declined permission for that intubation. That is one version that is coming out from the doctor's side. What exactly happened there in those 2 hours, no one really knows until the inquiry comes out, because there is a lot of obscurity in what's happening in the GMC. The political executive is completely blocking any access to anybody to the GMC, so doctors are not talking very freely. Very difficult to get to know what exactly happened in those 3 hours, because he was brought in at 2:30. But one thing I cannot understand is, the GMC was alerted that Jitendra Prabhu will be brought there by the private hospital in Dargali. So definitely it took them at least half an hour to bring him from there to here. In that half an hour, why wasn't GMC prepared to accept him?
Yeah.
I mean, they had half an hour to get themselves prepared, and there should have been a senior doctor there, because Jitendra has privileges, right, as
Yeah,
being a
yeah.
former legislator.
Yeah.
And if the hospital in Dargadi had intimated GMC in advance that they are referring a patient who is suspect COVID,
Yeah.
I don't understand why they weren't ready.
Yeah,
That's a lapse.
and the other point is that it happened at a time when I think there's very little traffic in GMC,
Exactly.
of patients.
Exactly.
And obviously
There is no OPD.
There's
There
no
was no
OPD
OPD on.
Yeah, yeah.
And the number of patients referred to GMC was very low
Yeah,
in
yeah.
those times. So I don't understand why they weren't ready for Jitendra Prabhu.
That's true. So the other point I wanted to make to you, Ashley, is these numbers we are getting of people leaving the state. So there's this report. One of the reports says 6,000 want to enter Goa from other states, but at the same time, 85,000 seek to leave. And that is obviously the migrant labor trying to go.
That is in the 80,000 figure, yeah.
Yeah, and Navin Times had a very interesting report. It talked of the exodus of migrants to hit real estate, fishing industry badly. Now, the other thing is, the Goa government has been so sort of badly hit in its finances that it has imposed excise duty on liquor. Let me read to you one very, very interesting piece of information. It says the government has also imposed a tree tax on the coconut tree by rupees 10 a year, and the date tree by rupees 3 per month. I didn't know we had date trees in Goa. Is that a fact?
No, we don't have date trees in Goa,
So
but
what
I
is
don't know
this?
what they are referring to as the date tree.
Okay.
If I am not mistaken, I think it's got to do with the cashew tree.
Okay.
Because these
maybe.
this tree tax
Yeah.
is for people who are extracting liquor from palm.
Yeah, but how
coconut
much
palm.
money can the government make by charging 10
Hardly
rupees
anything. It's just a restrictive.
a
it's
year?
It's just a restrictive measure so that everybody and anybody doesn't do it.
Okay, but there is also this other thing where all these water tariffs have gone up. This has gone up, and this is a time when everybody is going around with a begging bowl. There's not a single this that is not asking for money. The mining industry is asking for money. The truckers are asking for money. Even the motorcycle pilots are asking for money.
Yeah, but the other day when I attended this post-cabinet press conference of the Chief Minister, the CM was quite firm in saying that everybody is asking for packages, but the government itself needs a package, number one.
Exactly that.
And then he says that, yes, we will work out packages only for those people who are daily wages, like the motorcycle pilots. He was giving examples, like people having motorcycles and being pilots. Their business has been completely zero in this last lockdown.
So why doesn't the government since so many people are leaving and there are so many local people who want jobs and who need jobs, why doesn't the government sort of look at a thing of building up a register of people unemployed, and
this
then
is something that needed to be done long ago.
Absolutely.
Like the employment exchange, which is like a
practically
white elephant.
Defunct.
Okay. Why I don't understand why they don't have a kind of a proper data of what kind of skills are available in Goa, what kind of industry would be suitable for Goa. There's nothing of that sort. That kind of planning does not happen in Goa at all.
Yeah. So now we come to they're talking of people who are working on trawlers, etc. All.
But
all
I don't think the fishing industry would be affected that much, because in any case they have this 2-month ban on fishing.
That's true.
Which starts on the 1st of June.
Right.
So that gives them that breathing space.
Yeah,
so in any case, these migrants who work on the trawlers used to leave Goa by the end of May. So the fishing industry, I'm not too sure will get affected, but real estate definitely, because
Okay.
99% of the
Right.
workforce in the
Yeah.
construction industry is
So
migrant.
the government, government is also talking about, you know, the first flight with Goans stranded abroad will land at Daboli next week. So how many people are
He
likely?
spoke of 350 people in 2 flights.
Okay, but
The
altogether I think 6,000
Yeah,
people
there
or
are
so
about
have applied.
6,000 people who have registered with their desire to return.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these are from which? From
Most
all
of
over?
them are from the Gulf.
And there is also, yeah, there are these distress sort of signals coming in from the Gulf countries.
Yeah.
Most of them from Saudi, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Saudi and UAE.
UAE.
Yeah,
Okay,
Saudi
okay.
and UAE, because a lot of them have lost jobs.
Yeah.
And they are in very critical times. Like there is this one couple I spoke to
Yeah.
this week in fact, where the lady is expecting.
Okay.
Both of them have lost jobs.
Okay.
And they want to be back.
Okay.
And they don't have time, you know,
Right.
because she can travel up to June.
Yeah.
Because as her pregnancy progresses, flying is not advisable.
Yeah. So the numbers there we are looking at is around 3,000, I think.
3,000, yeah.
Right.
From the Gulf it is about
Oh,
3,000.
okay. So on that note, viewers, we've come to the end of the program. Thank you for watching and see you next week.